Okay, so you know the movie Home Alone. We all do. It's a holiday classic, right? Well, today we're going to forget all the heartwarming stuff. Instead, we are opening a full-blown case file. We're going to do a deep dive into the absolute insurance nightmare that is the McCallister incident.
You remember this line. This was Kevin's battle cry. And for an 8-year-old, you gotta admit, it's pretty brave. But for his insurance company, they'd see things, well, a little differently. So let's treat this like a real incident report and figure out what the actual financial and legal damage would be.
All right, every good investigation has to start at the very beginning. And in this case, the problems for the McCallister family started way before the wet bandits even thought about stepping onto that property.
That's right. Before any of the booby traps, before the paint cans, the first potential crime isn't from the burglars. It might actually be on Kevin's parents. The big question is, did Peter and Kate McCallister break the law by accidentally leaving their son behind? So this is the actual legal wording from the state of Illinois, which is where the movie is set. Their law defines a neglected child as one who is abandoned without a proper plan of care. Think about that. Leaving your 8-year-old completely alone while you fly to Paris? That could have landed the McCallisters in some seriously hot water when they got back.
Okay, now for the main event. Kevin's one-kid war against the wet bandits left a trail of absolute destruction through that beautiful house. So let's start breaking down the damage reports, claim by claim, and see what a real homeowner's policy would actually pay for.
First up, Exhibit A. Remember this? Early on, Kevin tries to get his brother Buzz's life savings and ends up bringing this massive shelving unit crashing down. It was a total mess.
We're estimating the cost to repair the wall, replace the shelves, and cover the damaged items comes to about $838. So, the big question is, will their insurance company cover it?
And the verdict is approved. Yeah, surprisingly, this one gets a green light, and here's why. Kevin didn't mean to do it, it was an accident. A really comprehensive homeowner's policy, what's called an HO5, would almost certainly cover this kind of accidental damage. So, that's one small win for the McCallisters.
All right, next on the docket, the infamous hot doorknob. To stop Harry from getting through the front door, Kevin grabs an electric charcoal starter and heats that thing up until it's literally glowing. It's a genius move for a kid, but a costly one. Now, the cost to replace the doorknob itself is pretty small, only about $90. But the money here isn't the real issue. It all comes down to Kevin's intent.
And that is a hard no. The claim is denied. See, insurance is for accidents, not for things you do on purpose. Because Kevin intentionally set this trap to hurt someone, the claim for the doorknob would be denied. And, maybe more importantly, any lawsuit from Harry for that very serious burn would also be their problem alone.
Okay, our final piece of evidence is a real doozy. As Marv is sneaking into the basement, Kevin drops a clothes iron all the way down the laundry chute and it hits him smack in the face. It's an incredibly effective and incredibly destructive tactic.
That impact would have absolutely wrecked the laundry chute door and probably the chute itself. We're talking about $434 in repairs. But, once again, we have to ask, was it an accident?
And just like that hot doorknob, this claim gets a big, fat, denied stamp on it. It was an intentional booby trap set up specifically to cause injury. The McCallisters are paying for this one, and probably Marv's future dental bills all by themselves.
So, this brings us to the real heart of the whole case. Every single one of these denied claims comes down to the fact that Kevin's actions were intentional. But, was he legally allowed to do it? This is where things get really interesting and, frankly, pretty complicated.
You've got this classic legal showdown here. On one hand, you generally can't just set up booby traps. They're illegal because they could hurt anyone, even someone who isn't a threat. But on the other hand, Illinois has what's known as the castle doctrine, which gives you the right to use force to defend your home. So a court would have to decide, was Kevin reasonably defending himself or was he illegally setting traps? It's a tough call.
So the family's back together, the bad guys are behind bars, and the holiday music swells. It feels like a happy ending. But for the McCallisters' bank account, the nightmare is just getting started. Let's add up the out-of-pocket costs from just the 3 incidents we've looked at.
So here's the breakdown. It's pretty clear, right? The one truly accidental event, the shelves, gets approved. But the 2 things Kevin did on purpose, the doorknob and the iron, are denied without a second thought. This shows you exactly where the line is drawn for an insurance company.
Just from these 3 items alone, the McCallisters are already on the hook for $524. And that's before we even talk about the tar on the stairs, the thousands of shattered ornaments, or the flooded basement. Not to mention the lawsuits that Harry and Marv are definitely going to file. The real total would be, well, astronomical.
You know, when you really break it down, the McCallister case is the perfect, if chaotic, holiday lesson in liability. Protecting your home is one thing, but how you do it really matters. Anything you do on purpose to cause harm could leave you with a massive bill that no insurance policy on earth is going to cover. Which leaves us with one final question to think about. When you're defending your castle, are your methods really leaving you in good hands?